Hello everyone and welcome. My name's Lainie. This is Big Girls Really Do Cry, and this is photos of the week. So I haven't been out and about so much this week. However, I do have lots of photos still. Especially squirrels, I can't speak, squirrels, an American kestrel, and some bees, I think. But you will see shortly. I've done the same thing, voiced over them, and hopefully it'll all work. So here we go. So starting here with Miss Pidge. Well, I'm saying it's a miss, because it looked like a couple of the boys were chasing her and fluffing all the feathers up. I just thought she was a bit unusual because she was mostly white with sort of dashes of black here and there. I love pigeons in the sense that they just look so dopey. It's like they just haven't got a clue. They're just wandering around clueless. To be fair, it counts for probably 50% of the population, but including myself. But yeah, she was just enjoying nothing and not doing nothing. This is a view from the river. I went back down and tried to picture it through the fence because I can't see over the fence properly, and I can't get near enough to the fence to take a picture of it, so I just did it through. Moving on to the start of the bees, there's a few bee pictures. They were very busy. They were absolutely covered in pollen, as you can see, I hope, on his legs and that. And I think these flowers were popular. I'm not really sure what kind of flowers they are, but they were getting a lot of pollen off them, and so who might argue with taking pictures of bees, because there was quite a few. I wish I could get one of them really cool. I mean, you can see where his eyes are, but the ones with the macro cameras, who are the really, really cool macro cameras that can kind of see all the little dots on their eye cover. It's kind of weird looking, but I like this because you could just make out all the pollen. And then this one, he was kind of like half up, waving his little antennae. I don't know. But the last picture, which is about to come up. So yeah, this is my absolute favourite out of what I took. I don't know, it just felt like he was looking up at me, sort of side-eyed, and he was just, as he was climbing up, but I like to think he was like, yo. I don't know why you would say yo or whatever, but yeah, I just love it. And so moving on to the wildflowers, I took these photos and then explained to Susan that they dug out bits of the grass and then planted these there. So essentially they're not wild. Yeah. But I don't know, they're meant to be wildflowers. They must have just had a pack of seeds that said wildflowers on them, but they didn't get there on their own, if that's what she meant anyway. But yeah, I just love all the colours. There's just loads of different colours and it's really pretty. Anyway, moving on. This is a rose, obviously, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a tiny little, I think it's green spider right in the middle. This is also a rose, and there was loads of water droplets on it, so I decided to take a photograph. The next flower, this one, I think someone's told me what this is before. Something is saying clematis, I think, in my brain, but that probably is wrong. So if you do know what it is, please let me know. But I love the way it lays out. It's just Perfection in a flower. There you go. This is the smiley tree, as you can see. He's smiling. There used to be like a bee's nest against it, but I've never seen the bees. So I don't know if they've moved on or what, but I haven't seen them for a while. But yeah, you cannot deny Mr. Smiley Tree. Or is it antiphomot? I don't know the word. Someone explain. Antiphomosizing things? I don't know. That's not how it is. Susan, what is it? Anthropomorphizing. Anyway, whatever, because I'm going to, talk about squirrels instead. I was quite laughing at this squirrel because the way it was sort of looking around the tree, it was kind of like it was watching us, checking out what was going on, or it was like Squirrel's version of Mission Impossible or something, because it was after acorn nuts or whatnot, and so that was its mission, and so it was just staring to see if it could go yet. There was a woman beside us with a dog, so I'm guessing that it was the dog that it was keeping its eye on, and not me, who was taking photographs of it. Although quite possibly it was thinking, can you just bugger off? I don't want you to take my photograph. But yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm guessing, was it the same? Yeah, I'm guessing I saw this. Oh, that's actually a way of, I'm so confused. So I saw this squirrel in loads of different places, right? And then I've just thought it had this tiny cutout, so something had took a bite out of its ear by the looks of it. And I can't remember if the ones that I took of it on this rock here had the missing bit, because I never thought about that, because that would mean it was the same squirrel that was that I've seen 3 different times in 3 different places. That would make sense, wouldn't it? I can't see from that picture. Maybe it is because it looks smaller on my screen at the minute while I'm recording this voiceover, but yeah, hopefully there's some close up of its face, and I'll be, I think that you can see on there, can't you? What you can also see is her teats. So I've decided this is a female because she's clearly got her teats on show, and I have zoomed in to look, as you do. So my guess is she has babies, and they are either just left or she's still feeding them. Yes, it is the same squirrel. See, they can't all have that perfect cutout of you, can they? And I'm assuming it's something that got ate a little bit of it or whatever. But yeah, I came around the corner and it was just there, and so I was so chuffed. And I laughed at this one when I was looking back, because it either looks like she's wishing for something, praying for something, or she's going, God damn it, or something for whatever reason. I'm thinking it's I wish for bigger acorns, you know what I mean, or something like that. I don't know. What do you think? But yeah, I got some pretty decent pictures. The light wasn't great. There was no sun. It was very cloudy. But because I managed to get near enough, they weren't too bad at all. And I like the backgrounds, kind of all the wildflowers and stuff like that. I don't know what she was eating. There was something. It kind of looked like crumbs of something, like maybe bread. Speak, Lainie, speak. Breadcrumbs or something like that. That was on top of on top of the rock, because there's the squirrel lady who comes round and feeds them quite often, but she usually brings nuts for them and stuff, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, she was happily just not far from me and just carrying on, and it wasn't until a kid come along on his scooter and she decided that was a bit too noisy, so she liked it. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, even though I've showed you hundreds of pictures, I took thousands more. So yeah, I can't help it. this next picture is of the tufted ducks, the babies. Now I showed you them, was it last week or the week before? I can't remember. But they've grew a bit. The only problem is when I went into the park, they were quite far into the water. So this is the only photo I got really that was of any good. As I said, the light wasn't great and they were quite far from me. But I just wanted to show you the size. Now, I was really chuffed because Glenn was there, who's the falconry man guy, yeah, and he had a American Kestrel. Now, this American Kestrel is 5.5 weeks old. He's absolutely so cute, but this is how big he's going to be. He's not going to get any bigger. This is the biggest he'll get, which is just about the size of a blackbird. I don't know if you can see in this picture, but there's a drop of water, well, a drop of rain actually, just above his head. I caught when I took the picture. It was quite tough. I was like, oh look, there's a drop of rain. But absolutely love his colouring. He's super sweet and just beautiful. Like, sometimes when you look at like the feathers on the front, they look a bit like hearts depending on how you know, which way he is or whatever. I don't know if you can see it on there. I can see it on there, but then again, I see things in things me, apparently. But yeah, they just look like they're a bit like hearts. But yeah, 5.5 weeks old. He was quite a little character. He was trying to bite the straps and things, and I think he was wanting to play and enjoy stuff, and he was so interested in what was going on around him and like in the world, I suppose. But I suppose like anything, like, you know, it's social aspect of life and what's out there, you know. He wasn't much keen on the dogs, and his alarm call was going off whenever he spotted a dog. But yeah, and as you can see on the top of his head there, he's still got his baby fluff, which is nearly all gone. But when he said this is the biggest he'll grow, I was like, oh my god, he's tiny for a bird of prey. But yeah, and he's got that sort of blue-grey on his head and on his wings, whereas like, and he's male, his name's Captain, whereas a male English Kestrel has grey on his bottom of his tail and on his head, I think. What he was showing us here was that they have dummy eyes in the back of their head, so that if they're not actually eyes, obviously, it's just the way the feathers go, so then they don't get attacked from behind. So it looks like from a distance to a bird, it looks like that's their face, so obviously they wouldn't attack them from the front because they would see them coming, type of thing, which I thought was really cool. He said in the wild that unfortunately they don't live past probably 18 months to 2 years, so that they mature at 18 months. In captivity they can last about 15-20 years. But yeah, this was him eating some chicken. He was proper tucking into it and enjoying it. He told me that they eat small mammals, so like voles, rats and mice and things, newts maybe. They also eat insects and bugs and beetles and things like that. And yeah, it was just a joy to watch, like to see him, like, because again it's something I've never seen before and something that I wouldn't get to see in normal circumstances, you know what I mean? So it was just really cool, and just to watch them. And again, their eyes are fixed, so their head bobs, so that they can refocus and view. He said to me, I think he said, is it 3 or 4 mile they can see? So like they can spot, like, oh, he also told me that he will attack a pigeon. He will go for a pigeon like as food, even though like pigeons are quite a bit bigger than him. But I'm sure he said 3 to 4 miles. He said peregrine falcons can see for 5 miles, I think. But that's just amazing if you think about it. But I suppose if you're like right up in the sky and you can see something, wow, just amazing. This was him eating his food. I just was really tough for this picture because you can see his tongue in it, and yeah, he was thoroughly enjoying it. And like I said, full of character. He's patterning. I mean, I don't know what the terminology is, but he's patterns within his fur. As you can see, the hearts again, for me, I think they look like hearts, and then them 2 stripes on his face. He's like the kind of Adam Ant of the bird world. But he's just so beautiful, and he was so lovely. And then I got a few of them. Well, this one with his wings open. I missed the tips off again, but this is probably the best one I got. It was the least blurred one. I have kept some of the other ones in to show you because I wanted to show like different angles, I guess, and just because I couldn't choose which ones. It's really hard to choose which ones to put in, because I'm just like, I like that one. Again, the weather wasn't the best. It was very cloudy, and it in fact would had a ton of rain on the morning before. I seen him, and I nearly just went into town and then came back, went round the shops and then just came back. I went into the park and it was raining, so I went into the cafe, thought I'll have a cup of tea, and then I'll come back out, and if it hasn't stopped I'll just go home because I'm not going to get any photos. But as it happens, it did stop. It slowed a lot, and then it did stop. And typically, I was halfway home, and the sun came out, which is just typical. But yeah, it's the winter gardens that's behind him. If anyone was wondering, but yeah, I was trying. I got a few shots in different angles just to show, and I'm not really sure if you could see the size difference. Sorry for that little bit of Jasper barking there. I had to stop recording for about the 33rd time so far. Well, my shopping was being delivered, and yeah, he has a meltdown every time that happens. But anyway, I love this picture. I was a bit sad that I didn't quite catch the top of his wing, but yeah, I just think it looks pretty cool. Same with that, he looks like he was stretching. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's a lot of seagulls and pigeons on top of the winter garden roof in the background. Even though he was so tiny, although the seagulls were swooping a couple of times, I think they were trying to take a closer look and see if he was actually a threat. But I think they were a lot too big for him. That makes sense, Lainie. They were way too big for him, and I don't think he would have got far with one of them, to be honest. But yeah, as you can see, I took plenty of photos from different angles, just trying to get something decent, I suppose. Whilst I was there, Glenn mentioned that he was doing a display within our town, that the council have asked him to do like a display with 5 or 6 of the birds on, I think he says on Monday and on Friday of next week, so that'll be cool. I'll be able to go and see that, and I suppose it'll be good for the kids in the 6 weeks holidays, you know, to see something that they wouldn't usually see. I'm not sure which birds you'll have there, but it'll be cool to see whatever. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that the weather will be better, and we'll have, you know, I'll be able to have clearer pictures. Although these close-ups aren't too bad. like if the sun had been out, I think it would have helped a bit, but it did brighten up a little bit once it stopped raining. But yeah, looking at him there, he doesn't look much bigger than a sort of parrot, does he? Although I sized him next to it, like my ID was like a blackbird. I'm not sure if he is a little bit bigger. I kept this one in even though the wings were a bit blurred on the inside. It's just you could see them. I can't remember what he was looking down at, but yeah, I just thought you could see the pattern within. Again, this one I kept in because of his legs. It's like his little chicken legs, because when they're like down like that, you don't see that their legs are that long, and when you look at them like that, you think, whoa, it's a bit weird. But you just forget that it looks like that. It's the same with owls. Owls have got legs like that as well, and it just looks really odd. Again, another shot that I missed the top of it, but I wanted to keep them in just to show you all the different I don't know, images I got, I suppose. I think this next one is probably the only one I got all of his wings in, apart from it blurred a little bit at the edges. Or maybe I've got another one, but I can't remember. I've put that many pictures in here that I'm at a loss now. But it's just how amazing is, like, you know, nature. That, like, for instance, you know, how do they evolve so that these have dummy eyes on the back of their head, like, to fool other birds? I mean, you know what I mean? That's just amazing. Everything's like amazing. Like, I see things so differently than I used to, and I just find it all fascinating. And, like, you know, one of the things that when you watch nature, when you look at nature, how it just gets on with what it has to get on with, if that makes sense. But I love these ones with his sort of wings out like this. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so he's called Captain. My guess is Captain America, and that's why he's called Captain, because he's American. But it's amazing, isn't it, how our kestrels and their kestrels are a little bit different. Don't bark anymore, Jasper. I've had enough of stop-starts. Like, in the size difference and things, but, and it's, you know, just amazing how things, it just, well, I think I've said amazing quite a lot, haven't I? You never know how much time to put on these because I have to do I put all the photographs in, and I have to put all the time in, and then I never know if I give enough time to say what I need to say, and then, or if I'm putting too much in, like I probably have done with these pictures, because I think I've pretty much said all I need to say, but yeah, I've added time on to try and get it all in. But yeah, he's very cute, and I'm looking forward to Monday or Friday or both or whatever to see what Glenn brings to the into the city centre again, to see what, you know, what the display is, or, you know, be cool to take some more photos. Anyway, this is the last one of him, so moving on to the rabbit. I only got a couple of rabbit pictures. This one, which was slightly bigger, it was pretty close at this point, and then there was a smaller one, so I'm not sure if it was like a baby, so this one, and I just thought it was cute, and, you know, with the strands of grass behind it, as you can see. And then as I was watching it, this magpie flew down, and he was a bit of a cheeky Charlie, so he was just minding his own business at one point, and then he was like going over to the rabbit and trying to pull its ear or pull its fur, and then obviously the rabbit was chasing it a little bit, and then he was just legging it like into the trees, and then he was like making noises from up there, like I mean, these photographs aren't the greatest, but I just wanted to put them in to show you. So here he was, just going over towards him again to like have a go at his ear. And I think the rabbit got wise in the end and was like he wasn't getting near enough, but it was just funny that they were like playing, and yeah, it was pretty cool. It's just like, I really hope that you enjoyed them. Let me know what your favourites were, and anything else you want to say. What you may have seen out and about, if you take photographs and art, either way. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you're not already subscribed and you want to see more, then please do subscribe, and I shall catch you next time. Bye bye now.